Wow. Should I call Laurel up?
Just give it another minute. Laurel's often, she comes in towards the end.
I don't know about y'all, but it's about to storm up here.
Yeah, it's really, really ominous.
I know it's been dark, but I'm probably about 40 miles or 35 miles from you guys, but it hasn't rained yet. We must have a cold front coming through. Is it supposed to be cooler tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, here's Laurel. All right. Okay. And do you want me to go ahead and bring Autumn in, and maybe you can bump her up to the front and then?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to go to my logo for the time being, and I will reactivate later. And you are at 7:01.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Water Commission for the month of September 2021 to order. Until further notice, the Corporation of Harpers Ferry's governing and deliberative bodies will hold meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during a public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch meetings by YouTube video live stream or listen by telephone. These options comply with the Open Governmental Meetings Act. Okay, let's we can go ahead, we can do approval of minutes after. I'm going to go ahead and have Autumn Crow, welcome Autumn, talk to us a bit about the memorandum of understanding that we have with West Virginia Rural Water. And do you have a copy of that, right, Chris?
I
And
don't know.
Autumn, you're on mute, so if you want to unmute yourself, there you go.
Okay.
Are you referring to the document today that was sent, or the last couple days?
Yeah.
I can look it up.
Okay, that's all right. Anyway, welcome Autumn.
Hi, thanks for having me tonight.
Thanks for coming. Do you have like a presentation or?
I don't. I didn't even know that I was going to be given an opportunity for a presentation. So I'm just here myself.
Okay.
I can talk about the project if you want, for those that aren't familiar with it.
Sure. I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Well, I'm actually sitting in for our former employee, Tanner Hade, who actually spearheaded this project, but I know enough about it to be able to speak to it tonight. So I'm Autumn Crow. I'm the interim program director with West Virginia Rivers Coalition. And we have a Safe Water for West Virginia program where we partner with water utilities to help educate the public about source water protection. And we're piloting a new project this year that's like a designation program for water utilities. Right now, we're calling it Source Water Protection Communities, but you may be familiar with that. Harpers Ferry issued a proclamation during Drinking Water Week, so that's one of the components of the program in order to be designated as a safe water community. The other components of the program are to have projects within the community. And we have some funding available to partner with water utilities to be able to implement some of those projects. So Tanner had been meeting with the Water Commission and other stakeholders in the area to identify some potential projects. And one of those was educating students about source water protection. And we have previously partnered with the Potomac Valley Audubon Society to help implement some of their watershed education activities in more schools. in the region. And so that came up as a potential project. And it's a very, very easy project to accomplish because they already do this in a lot of the schools in the area. But what we would be doing is partnering with PBAS and the Harpers Ferry Water Commission to bring that educational component to more schools within the Harpers Ferry source water protection area. So what the memorandum of understanding is details a partnership between West Virginia Rivers, PVAS, and the Harpers Ferry Water Commission. And so you'll see outlined in the MOU what each partner brings to the table as far as resources. There will be, so PVAS will be working with the identified schools in the area. I think there's 2 schools and a total of 6 classes that they would be working with. And so they'll educate those classes about watershed protection and specifically source water protection. So this is kind of like a new concept that they're introducing to the students. And part of that project will be doing a video on like source water protection. So it's a very great program, helps, educate the area's youth at a very early age about the importance of protecting drinking water sources, so that as they get older, that information and that education will already kind of be instilled in them from a young age. So we're really excited to be able to provide some resources to bring that kind of education to your area schools.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, a while back, we did a recording with me on the water treatment. Are we still doing that too as well, or do you know what's going on with that?
I'm not sure who you did the recording with.
Amy, was it Amy?
Amy Moore?
I think so.
Yeah, so then maybe that's what they'll be using for the video.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It says work with PVS to develop a content, record and edit a video about drinking water is treated at Harpers. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
So we've already done that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we did that probably about a month ago.
Okay, that's good. So things are further along than it's too bad Christy couldn't join us tonight because she's probably the most up on all of this.
Yes.
And we're sad to see Tanner go, but it's great to have you here. We have one of the things that Harpers Ferry has that not every community has as sophisticated or as developed is this source water protection. So our efforts predating my presence on the commission have been significant in this area, and it's great to have. I mean, we've worked with West Virginia Rivers Coalition in the past, but to have something sort of organized like this where the various parties are bringing their resources together to broadcast not just our efforts in source water protection, but what it means to do that to the community. I think that's where we haven't had this kind of penetration in the schools or in the community. And it's one of the things that I'm most proud of this water commission is that we have this amazing knowledge and program about source water protection. This is our opportunity to tell everybody else about it with friends that have the same goals and have more experience in doing this kind of outreach. So we're excited. And we'll be voting on executing this MOU this evening. Anything else? Does anybody have any other questions for?
You mentioned, I have a question. You mentioned you were in touch with 2 schools. what are the two schools that you are in touch with?
Driftwood and Lowry Elementary.
Yeah.
It's on, do you have the MOU, Laurel?
No, I didn't get the MOU. You said Driftwood and TA Lowry, okay. No, I don't know, it just didn't reach me. Maybe it wasn't sent to the Water Commission. I mean, to the Water Commission email. So maybe you could send it to me and I'll give it a quick read.
It's only 2 pages,
Okay,
PowerPoints. I can read it out loud to you real quick.
yeah.
All right.
So what prompted this MOU at this time? Do you know?
Are you asking her or me?
Well, yeah, either one or anybody. Since I didn't see this on the agenda, which is fine because I'm happy to talk about this. This is so important. But I just wondered where it came from.
This is something that Christy and Tanner have been working on and that we've talked about previously in the abstract at our the last couple of times that Tanner's come. These were the
Yeah,
projects.
no, I remember that. I remember that
Yeah.
we are responsible for doing like 2 projects a year. Is that right?
This is
So-
this is
Yeah.
the codification of that agreement, and I like it because it kind of lays out who's doing what and ways that we can shore up PVAS and WVRC and vice versa. This spells it all out in a way that we haven't had as clearly done in the past. So at least that
Okay.
I've seen. So but and here I have sent you the document. It's not terribly long. But I think this is we've agreed in principle, I think, to all of the things on it, just not to the, we haven't really been exposed
We were
to.
having regular meetings when Tanner was here. I've been to probably, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
all of these things here we've discussed, just not as laid out or as organized as they've been presented in the MOU. But the principles we've kind of already discussed.
And this just formalizes the partnership so that we can give PVAS the money they need to get into those 2 additional schools.
This is pretty successful, isn't it? It seems to be, people seem to be reaching out. I mean, I don't know, just, I'm liking this.
Okay, so do we want to go ahead? It's just you and me, Laurel. Do we want?
Since it looks like there's been a lot of email about this, but nobody thought of putting the Water Commission email on here. And so this is the first time I've seen it. So I think, is there a reason to do it this month?
Well, the agreement terminates at the end of this year.
Okay.
So, Autumn, are they kind of waiting on this $3,000?
I think so, in order for them to start. The school year has already started. So in order for them to get into the schools, and I apologize, I didn't have.
Oh, no, Autumn, don't worry. I mean,
Tanner had
that wasn't for you to think of. It was, we really should have thought of it on our end. Absolutely not. Don't even think of that. Because you don't know all the members of the Water Commission. That's not.
Right, I just
so
had the
please-
emails that Tanner provided before he left.
Yeah.
No,
and-
it's-
and when
it's fine,
Tanner was
and-
here, we didn't have it. It's a sort of a new thing too. But,
Do
so
you
I
want to
don't
like?
really know what the $3,000 is or anything about it, to tell you the truth.
It goes to Potomac Valley Audubon Society so that they can go into those 2 additional schools.
And it's West
leadership.
Virginia Rural West Virginia River Coalition funds.
Right, we have the funds through grant funds and we're paying PVAS to go into the 2 additional schools. So it breaks down into like 1,500 per school. And so it's no money on behalf of the Water Commission.
Yeah,
We're giving the money to PVAS and the Water Commission will benefit from having the students in the area learn about source water protection. And then at the end of the program, we'll do like a press release and just, let the community know that we had this partnership and that we were able to educate the students in the area.
it's like we've hired a source water protection public relations agency and somebody else is paying them.
Oh, if you want to know the truth, it's probably one of the reasons also that we got System of the Year at West Virginia, so.
Well, but the purpose of this formal agreement is so that West Virginia Rivers Coalition can
Well, obviously,
pass the funds along properly, because grant funds can't just be spent willy-nilly. So they need to document their file. And it also outlines the ways that we are agreeing to shore up PVAS's educational program and otherwise participate in this outreach. But we're sort of a content provider more than the active participant. And we're giving PVAS ammunition to go into the schools and educate kids about what we're doing along with them, and inform them about the values of why this is important to our community. And so I think for us it's kind of we do need to do this sooner rather than later. So, and there's just not a risk for us here. If we were committing town funds or something, we would have to approach this a little differently, but we're not. We're helping them spend their money.
Right, I understand.
right?
Well, look, let me make a suggestion. It's a very easy thing to have another meeting. We don't have to wait a month. We can wait. We can have a meeting in a week, and just with this one thing on the agenda. Why don't we do that? Since I have not read this and I don't really know what you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? I just really don't. It sounds like it's something simple, and if I had just been part of that all along, it wouldn't be a problem.
Doesn't affect the
And it
deadline.
probably
does it?
will not be any kind of problem. It's just that, can we just have another meeting in a week with one thing on the agenda that sort of gets it done?
I mean, how does a week impact the timetable? I mean, had they done outreach to the schools? Are the schools giving them dates that they can come and that kind of thing yet?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
That's a question for PBAS. It
Okay.
sounds like they may have already started if they've already recorded a video. I don't think 1 week is going to make or break the project.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will reconvene on this. Thank you, Autumn, for coming. It's nice to meet you. And I know you're interim, but I'm sure we'll see you again before this is all over. And we thank you for all that West Virginia Rivers does for us, and we're proud to be a part of this partnership.
Well, thank you, Autumn. I think I've met you before at another water meeting, probably in the past. But so thank you for your long tradition of working for our safe waters.
Yes, and thank you guys for all the work that you do to keep Hartford Ferry water clean. And if you have any questions as you're reviewing the MOU, or if you want me to attend the meeting next week, feel free to send me an email and just let me know how else I can help.
Fantastic.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming.
You have a good night.
All right, you
All
too.
right.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. We can wait. You can just read it if you want now, Laurel. I just, there's nothing there's nothing we haven't already agreed to in a meeting with Tanner Hay. This is documentation so that they can do what they need to do.
This is just a formality, isn't it?
And we've already done part of it. Like one of the big items is how do we make water video, and Chris has already recorded that with
Yeah.
PVAS.
Well,
So
I got a question.
That took
Is-
about 3 hours,
How
actually.
how did all this correspondence go back and forth for the Water Commission and nobody had put Water Commission on there for an email?
well, because this correspondence and the discussion that Christie sort of spearheaded, the corralling the things that we would do and working with Tanner
And Barbara, yeah.
and Barbara. Yeah, so this predates the change in personnel, but it also I presume that all of these parties were communicating prior to us installing the
Yeah,
email for easy distribution. I mean, I haven't.
before the
I
water
have not been in
commission.
the loop on this at all. I didn't. I mean, I knew we discussed this in the meetings, but I have not been participating in the correspondence. But I did read the MOU, and there's nothing new on it from a standpoint of the things that we've talked about in our meetings as far as what we're going to do or what we're willing to do.
Well,
So I kind of
I do believe you. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just taken completely unaware of this email and of the MOU, and I think
Yeah,
it just wouldn't be difficult to just,
Well, I guess
It
my
is-
concern is I don't know what it is that you feel like you don't know.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it, so I don't want to vote on
It's only
something I
like 2
haven't read.
pages. We can wait. It's only 2 pages. I hate that this is something that other people are paying to do for us, and with obligations that are minimal for us, and I don't want to hold them up. So,
Well,
Anyway.
but she thinks it's not going to be a holdup.
well,
I think he was being polite.
yeah.
You know, if you had just thought of putting my name on that email, then this would all be not happening right now. So, I mean, it was just a simple mistake that people weren't noticing. And I totally understand that those things happen. But as she indicated, it's not a problem to wait a week. And we can have a very short meeting.
Is it gonna take a week to read it?
I don't think it really, you could actually put it out and probably in 3 days' time. You know, as long as the meeting gets noticed, so probably just take 3 days.
Okay. Anyway, have you had a chance to review last meeting's minutes?
Yes, they were very short. I didn't have any problem with those minutes. I would say they look fine.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 18th, 2021?
Okay, I will make a motion.
Second.
All right.
All those in favor?
Okay,
All right. All right, we do not have an Angie tonight. So
Yeah, is that due to her? Yeah. I think she had oral or,
Okay, wait, she'd
Right.
like her not to discuss her personal life.
yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
all that matters is she's not here to make her report.
Yeah, my bad, sorry.
But we can discuss, we do have some things that on her plate that we can probably talk about with Debbie Kelly.
Hey, you know what? You want to just put that down with the other things under the financials? You want to just
Yeah,
move that new
we're gonna
business
move
down there?
The discussion of e-billing and auto pay options
Yeah.
to under financials, where I probably should have put it to begin with. But Angie's the one that asked me about that first. So anyway, it's a very malleable agenda tonight. So Chris Steyer,
Yes, sir.
superintendent's report.
Okay.
Okay, so the auto bill, the auto pay and the e-billing, is that something new that is being offered by Kuzi?
We'll get to that under financials. Go
Oh,
ahead.
if we could,
I see.
please.
You're
Thank you.
moving it on the agenda to
Yes.
later. Okay, that's
Thank
fine.
Okay, the water loss for the month of August was 18.44%. We lost almost 2% less than the previous month. It was also the second highest month for water sold at 3,753,300 gallons for the year so far, which is, when I say second, the first highest was only like 4 million. So it's only 250,000 gallons, pretty much less than our highest. So I'm pretty happy with our percentage loss and water sold. We also had the lowest number of rereads we've had, at least in the last 4 months. Scheduling construction between some pretty intense storms was challenged. I had to shut the plant down after 12 p.m. on a Wednesday because the water was too muddy to filter from the hurricane rainfall we received. One of the reasons for that is right now I am doing direct feed. In other words, I am feeding directly from the creek or from the Elk Run directly to my filters. There is no buffer in between. Normally I have a sedimentation tank that has 50,000 gallons of water that takes a process of 3 hours or 2.79 hours to process to actually settle before it actually reaches my filters. So mud particles and stuff can filter out. But it's in the process of being rehabilitated and actually going to be improved. And because of that, right now, when it rains, I'm pretty much, if it's a hard rain, I have to shut down. And thank God our water loss is slow as it is. And even though we're in our high season as far as volume of water, we're holding well. And we're able to handle the storms. But that's only because our water loss is so low.
Can I ask a question then, Chris?
Sure.
So how long will you shut down? And so how long will you shut down?
Well, like when I shut down at 12 o'clock, I didn't reopen up until 7:30 a.m. the next morning.
Okay. And so that did not have any appreciable effect on our storage of as far as.
Well, yeah. I mean, because of that, I lost, probably 100,000 gallons of water that I could have made. But we were able to, and it cost, and it probably cost some overtime. But we were able to come back because we're only, right now, we're only averaging like 9 to 10 hour run times, which is fantastic. What we used to average before we found that massive break up on Ridge
West
Street,
Ridge.
yeah, it was like 13 hours during our high peak
Okay.
seasons, which is a phenomenal amount of time as far as, we're talking 98 to 100 hours less a month that we're having to run, which is great. Okay. We leak detected all of the fire hydrants and found that 6 needed to be tightened down. So we have approximately 70 fire hydrants. And I'm going to do this more on a routine. I normally do it right after I flushed, and I got busy last year and I completely forgot about it. And this is my fault, but thankfully there was only 6 that, and the other problem is we have firemen that can open up our fire hydrants and fill their tankers up or whatnot. And if they don't properly secure it or tighten it down well enough, then they can leak through. So I'm curious to see what type of water loss that affects it. It's probably going to be minimum, but if I see a percentage or 2 drop in my water loss, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Do
It's-
they,
it-
do
it-
they
it's-
inform you as a matter of courtesy? Do they inform you when they have done that?
No, they don't inform me.
Mm.
But I do have a better rapport with the fire chief now, Ron, I believe. And we're he agreed, one thing that we talked about, properly securing a fire hydrant. And when I mean by that is you tighten it all the way down and then you back it off 1/2 turn. You don't want to have your fire hydrant completely tightened down, because the plunger, it causes it to loosen out over a
Okay.
period of time and may cause leaks in the future. So,
Okay,
but we do have a much better relationship with the new fire chief, and I'm looking forward to us doing a few things in the future that are such as he's going to be re-educating us on how to use our safety oxygen equipment, and what else? Oh, and the fire painting, or the fire hydrant painting. We leak detected all the fire hydrants, found the 6 that needed to be tightened down. This may be helping water loss. My team has leak detected at least 1 or 2 days every week this month. I like right now, we had a tough time with construction because of certain matters, but I can always have the guys leak detect, and I can tell you, there's for me in a system, you can't leak detect enough, because you can go around and leak detect one day and go back to the same place and there's a leak there. So so the more we detect, the safer off we are, and I think our water percentage reflects good leak detecting. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let's see. Right now we are good on leaks, and we'll be working on broken meters after meter reading is finished in the following week. So next week we are reading meters again, and then hopefully we can resume with our crew broken meters, and we're done all the blacktop. So so we don't have that to worry about. That's just blacktop that we have to repair after we dig up the roads from repairs in the past. So that's all done. Sludge removal. We had delays this month due to construction at the plant. One of the reasons was we had to put in a new sewer system for us. And that got in the way of Oscar. We actually had to move the what do you call it? The dumpster and a couple times. And we also, they also put in a sludge pit that's for measuring my sludge. So we're actually going to have a meter that measures the sludge in the future that comes down from the said basin. That's actually going to be scraped from our automatic sludge remover that's going to be in the said basin that they're going to be installing shortly, which is going to be interesting. So I've never, there's a lot of things that are going to be first for me, but I've never had a meter measuring my sludge before. So this is, the more monitoring that we have on the system, the better, the more accurate we can be. And that, of course, got in the way of sludge removal. So about a week and a half, we were out of service, but we're right back on track. I'm averaging 6 bags again a day, which seems to be our average. And I'm going to say the bags roughly weigh between 75 to 100 pounds a piece. So between 500 to 600 pounds a day of sludge we're removing. Kenny Mitchell, our newest member of our team, is leaving for a job next Tuesday in Purcellville. September 21st. He's a hard worker and will be missed. And I'm I have nothing but good things to say about him, and I wish him all the best at his new adventures. So
Mhm.
that's it. And I have a few things. Well, I can leave one for financial. The other is our new sewer system. So all that has to be registered officially. I'm in the process. Alvarez, our construction, or Eli, the superintendent of Alvarez, gave me over all the paperwork. Now I have to file it with the DEP. I'm in the process of working out a deal with the PSD to take our sludge, or the sewer department, with Ed Tennant. If it works out, Dotson's would, if we award Dotson's a contract, would be taking our sludge for $100. And the sewer department would charge us $45. So $100 for transport, $45 for processing. If we can't work that out, it's $470 for
Are you talking about the sludge right now? Or are you talking about after?
He's
Our
talking
own
about
personal-
emptying our
our own personal sludge. Our own
yeah, our
personal-
new septic vault.
our new septic
well,
vault.
Well, that none of that's on the agenda. So I guess
Okay.
we'll address
sorry.
that. We'll address
Okay.
that at the time that we kind of get it hammered out and we have a proposal.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize that.
So,
I just thought I'd bring that up.
so,
That's all I got then.
old business, we have, do we have an update on our options for removing the lower said basin sludge? I mean, there was a sort of a document that was sent out last month about the dewatering box.
Yes, I've researched all of this. And I've tested it. I've sent you guys out all the testing with the filter on it.
You're talking about the bucket.
Yeah, the bucket technique. That was the filter for what the filter for the dewatering box.
Right.
It will work. The only problem through the assessment of the engineer and the RPR guy and me, it's a matter of time. You know, it's probably going to take 2 weeks for each load for the dewatering box, from the process of its sitting, dewatering, and transport. Remember, we only have one. So the waste management will come in, pick the box up, have to drive it all the way to Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, Mountainside, I think is the name of the landfill, and then return drive and bring it back to us. So it's the time factor, and with winter coming, that's another issue as well.
So, where did you send after you drained the stuff into the bucket, did you send the remaining water to the lab or do any testing on it yourself?
No. As long as it's clear, I'm okay with that. It goes directly back into the backwash pit, and it's as long as it's clear and it goes back in the backwash pit, then it settles in and filters out through the Elk Run, and it measures our permit. And I have quarterly testing that I do on both the sludge and the water coming out of the discharge that goes into the Elk Run. And so far, we're in our safe limits. We're well below any levels of aluminum, which is the one product that we're concerned about to filter back in. So we're good. I can't do any more testing than we're already doing. We're legal on everything we're doing. The DEP is aware of it.
As long as we know that whatever we end up discharging is safe.
Yes, it is.
And,
Yeah, again, the dewatering box I think it would work. It's the time, and everybody I've talked to says the same thing. It is a slow process.
so I guess
It's
the next
$7,000 a shot, and it's going to be a week. So if we're talking, go ahead. I'm sorry.
what's the volume of sludge we have left to remove?
I have a full side sludge, 78,000 gallons of sludge is what I was estimated.
We only have to empty one of those, right? We want to empty one
And
of
that's the
them.
side, yeah, that's the side I would like that's the side where the valves are that are not working that I would like to get repaired. Unfortunately, that's, and my solution that comes with recommendations from other people, as you know, from the progress meeting, is to look at having a professional remove it. And I'm looking at other, Clean Harbor and is one of them. Of course, Hydrosphere is the one that has sent us a proposal. Obviously that we would have, and where is the other one? Hold on. EISCO. ISCO?
So, Chris, I think I'm not up to date on this. So are you saying that you now think the dewatering box is not going to be a solution because it's not fast enough?
It's not fast enough. It's not
Okay,
going
so
to get us, it's not going to get us what we need in
All
time.
right, so we're not going for the dewatering at least now.
Okay,
And so, and then also, bring me up to date about, I know that there are two places there are sludge, these two tanks right next to each other. You've been trying to empty one of those, right?
Both
And all
of
we-
them. Yeah,
and
both of them I'm
we
trying to
need
empty.
Yeah, we need to empty both of them, but we need to do one of them. So in fairly soon, because the project requires it to be measured inside and used, right?
And yes, and so they can order the valves that need to be replaced. The idea that I propose and seems, will work is if we drain the side that's completely full, that has the broken one, they can measure it with the professionals. We would then work with Oscar removing the other side.
Wait a second here. So the one with the broken valves, is that the full one or the partial?
The one with the broken valves is the full one, unfortunately, yes.
Okay, and so I don't understand how, how does the broken valves measure? How does that come into this?
Okay. In order to get the measurements, we have to get all the way down to the bottom to see what size.
Okay, right.
What size measurements they have the schematics, and it shows them the dimensions, but they don't want to order anything until they're 100% sure that that's actually physically what is actually in the
Yeah,
ground.
I understand. That's why we're trying to empty one of them so that they can do that measurement, right? Or-
Yes, well, that and one side has to be completely emptied before we for the new system to start.
And so that's
her-
why we're working on the partial as fast as we can to try to empty it,
Yeah,
correct?
it's just, it's not fast enough.
Okay, so hold up. So
But
we're
we're
not,
working as fast as we can.
Yeah,
we
I
don't
know- I
have
know that.
there's not a proposal for us to vote on this evening, correct?
No, I'm working on trying to get you two
Okay.
more, and I have William Perry, that I'm, you know, there, these two places, these two places are in high demand. Sludge is a very, apparently lucrative business, and just getting meetings with these companies is
I'm not
challenge.
complaining, Chris. I just need to know whether we were going to have something to vote on, because if not, we're going to move on.
Okay,
Okay, the next item, and this has been on for at least from last month, and I still don't have we still haven't been presented with a clear understanding of what the normal maintenance cycle for each of our water storage tanks is, and where we are in that cycle. Like, when was the last time they were done, and how often should they be done? You know, what's the factory recommended maintenance interval for our water storage tanks? Because we can't really figure out where that fits on our budgetary projection priority wise if we don't
Okay.
know
well,
how.
I thought I made it clear that the big storage tank, the one that holds like 450,000 gallons, the one to the left, needs to be done within the next 2 years. That is part of the sanitary survey. That is what we're sending out, and have written letters to the health department or to the state, stating that we will take care of this, along with the fact that we are, because we are now in bin 2 with the crypto and Giardia, that we are going to a microfiltration system that will clear that up as well.
Yes, Chris, I do
also-
remember you're saying that 2 years on that tank. I remember
Yes.
that. You have informed us of that before.
Yeah,
Right. That
I-
doesn't answer the question, though.
I guess I'm missing the question entirely. I'm sorry.
Well, how often does that tank require maintenance? I know that we
Okay.
have 2 years to get it done, but how often do you, if you're the owner of a tank like that, how
How
often do you need to be,
I
you know,
will-
how often would you do the maintenance? And what would be the
I-
normal interval? And when,
How often
how
do you do the
often,
mason?
yeah, what's the normal maintenance interval? And when was it last performed?
Huh.
And
I-
so, you know, so
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get a beat on, Chris, is how urgent it is, not necessarily just in satisfying the PSC's or the health department's requirements, but, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you change your oil every 3,000 miles, and sometimes you don't change it that often, but you should. I'd like to know how often we need to change the oil on our water.
I
tank.
no, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
And we have two water tanks we're worried about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The second one, the middle one.
Right. So for all the tanks the big tanks that we store water in, that information, you know, what the maintenance interval,
Oh.
normal maintenance interval is, and when it was last performed, that will help us prioritize
Yeah.
how soon we need to do what, and how willing we are to spend, you know,
Yeah. The
large
other
amount of money
one
it'll
is-
take, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we've got time, that's great. If we don't, but it would be easier for us to analyze that if we knew what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm just going with just, and we'll get to the bottom of it, but I'm just going with what Alan Marchand said, 5 to 7 years on the other tank.
Right. Well, and what the sanitary survey and the health department and those kinds of things, those are kind of a floor. You know, we can't do worse than what they've told us we need to do, but I'd like to know what the normal, what
Yeah.
just, for that
Yeah,
model tank, how often do we need to do it? And that
I mean,
helps
they-
us figure out, whether we do them both sooner, whether we wait, whether we stagger them, whether we
Yeah.
contract with somebody and get a cheaper rate to do them both at the same time, or, one after the other, or however we want to do that. We don't have that kind of flexibility in our decision making if we don't have a good understanding of what
No,
normal.
I understand. I want to keep, I want to keep them happy. The last thing I want to do is get a letter that they're going to shut us down.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
have the capability of doing that.
Well, what we want to do is we want to avoid ever getting close to that limit
That.
of when we get shut down.
I
I don't want
agree.
to I know that we have 2 years before they shut us down. I'm not sure I want to wait that long to fix the problem. And we have.
No, and those were very good questions, Bill.
I think
and
that goes
I'm
without
sorry I didn't-
saying. That
Yeah,
goes
I'm-
without saying. You don't, that's of course is true. We're not waiting till the end of the time period.
Right, right.
Yeah, I understand. And I also understand that we have to watch our budget too.
Right. And so in
Because
order
these
to
are
make
very
those decisions
expensive.
well, we
Yeah.
need as much information as possible. But thank you, Chris. I look forward to getting that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're expensive decisions because they're both, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And it's money we've planned for, but it's not a small expenditure. All right. This was on last month's too, and we talked about it a bit, but it's my understanding that we have an SOP out there for leak adjustment policy and how we do that. Has
I
Angie-
haven't. Yeah, Angie has that whole SOP.
right?
I'll have that. And you know what? Well, I'll send that out to you guys. The moment I get it from her.
Okay,
I
that would be
apologize for not
fantastic.
having it.
Okay.
Huh? Yeah, I should have it on my file. I apologize.
Okay. Well, and what if once you get that from Angie and you review it and you think it's because both of you have to agree that's how we do it. I'd like that to go out to the Water Commission, including Maria.
Mhm.
So everybody's kind of on the same page.
Okay, no problem.
Fantastic.
SOP.
I appreciate that. I just
Yeah.
think that's important. We really all need to understand how that works.
Yeah, well, I was working on it. The SOP as far as what I take care of, but she has the whole. I know she has it all. She's getting pretty organized. Let me put it that way.
Yep. All right. We are now to financials with our town financial officer.
Okay, good evening. Before I say that, I just wanted to add one little thing to what Chris was talking about with the sedimentation basin and the urgency of that, that I heard in the progress meeting of the last time in perspective to your question, Laurel, which was the importance of getting the measurements of these knives and things that are inside the bin that we can't get to, is the lead time that's required on these. Not only do they have to be accurately done, but there's a big lead time, which then if we don't get it done in the next couple of months could hold up things on the back end as we close to finishing up the project. That was, does that sound accurate, Chris?
Yes, and the biggest problem with that is we're having back orders, so it's taking even longer.
Well, yeah, so the lead time is critical. That's why we're getting pinched. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that. Okay, so regarding your financials for this year, we were at the first month of the new year, closing in July. And that represents 8.3% of our year, 1/12. And our income is right around 6%, which is not, anything to be concerned about at this point. We do get some fluctuation as we move out through the year, so I'm not overly concerned about that. And our expenses are also running at about 6% there. And everything seems to be tracking along pretty normally. We do have a high spot in the plant chemicals, and Chris has been researching that. Do you want to say anything about that at this time, Chris?
Yes, I do. And it's ringing some bells. I'm kind of concerned because the answers that I got is, chemical rises are due to, he talked about the hurricanes. He talked about the COVID. He talked about the transportation and the demand. And these are all things that are adding to this. One of the biggest spikes that we have is the chlorine. I found out today since May, we've had a 33% increase per pound. And what I'm concerned about is that right now I'm wondering if we shouldn't, just to be on the safe side, put a 30% increase on just the budget on chemicals. Are we going to see this spike increase?
Well, part of what, you need to do is when you looked at comparison of this calendar year to last calendar year to date,
Yeah.
you were tracking pretty much to the dollar almost, you said. And
Yeah.
so if you are seeing a spike and you anticipate usage
see it.
to be.
Yeah, 82 cents to $1.19 from 2000 or two.
Okay. So
2/1/21 from February to date.
okay.
Yeah.
So what you'll need to do is figure out how much that's going to affect your chemical line budget. And when we do a budgeting, a revision, which I'm guessing from what I'm hearing about the sludge removal of the sedimentation basin, we have one in front of us soon. We can add that in there, but
Okay.
we'll have that. We need numbers for all of that, and we can't make any budget revisions without even projected numbers. We can't just say, okay, let's bump it up. So
I'm
we need
with you.
factual reason for that.
I
So
got-
happy
I
to
got facts
assist,
here.
I'm happy to assist, but I need numbers. I can't just say, what if.
No, I got your first numbers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we can deal with that when we have numbers and we're ready to make a revision. So any questions on anything on the budget as it is right now? Bug in here.
I would just like to add, I think that we're gonna see some issues with increases due to transportation and things like that on maybe more than just chemicals, on other things as well.
Well, please
Because
make a
it's affecting
list.
everything.
Please make a list of where you see that as a concern so that when we are getting ready to work on our budget, then we can address it at that time.
As
Yeah,
best as I can.
it's a good comment to make, Chris, because, that's
It's-
what we've been dealing with all along with the project
Right.
in general.
And trying to get an answer out of somebody today, because I wanted numbers too. He said, Chris, I can't give you. I don't know. I don't, it is just so sporadic right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's not an uncommon issue. And you don't have to have precise numbers. It's not uncommon, that, and there is a lot of fluctuation in the market. I mean, we had, a year ago, even 6 months ago, we were all feeling like we were going and buying emerald Jules when we went to buy a 2x4, and now that's starting to normalize a wee bit. And so there's certainly going to be fluctuation in the market, no doubt about that. What we need for you to do in order to effectively help us work through this year and these fluctuations is to go through the budget and see where you think there's a concern. And we will probably have more than one budget revision in this year, as we have in previous years, and we'll just have to watch it and adjust it as we go.
I'm betting right now 33%.
Okay, well,
Hope not.
It's hard. We actually like to
I'm
use,
just saying what the.
we like to
chlorine
use
is
data,
33%.
Chris. All right. Update on, what do you want to do next?
so I'm just going to pull the Scion reader and the e-billing and the auto pay and the credit card deposits, credit card processing for deposits all together in one thing, because they all kind of commingle, if that
Okay.
is okay. So if you recall, a while back, like well over a year ago, we purchased at the in order to back up the Scion reader that we have, we purchased a second one, and it was at their absolute insistence that we pay in advance for that, even though it was unknown when it was going to be delivered. And we paid $2,995 for that.
Wait, you paid what? I'm sorry, say again. You paid what?
29.
$2,995.
$3,000.
Yes.
Okay.
At their absolute insistence. I fought with them and they would not put the order in unless we paid them. In any event, that reader is not going to ever be. After much wrangling with them, the person who we worked with is no longer with
job.
Kuzi. And the lady who I'm now working with is extremely knowledgeable. She's probably the easiest person I've ever come across to work with at Kuzi. She seems to have an excellent understanding of how the whole system works, and really able to help with options whenever I talk to her. So I did talk about, is there any other alternative to backing up this reader that we have? And there is what they call a mobile reader service, which is an app that can go on an electronic device like your phone or an iPad. And basically, it seems to me as if it would work the same in principle as the Scion reader that you're currently using. You just would input the data on an iPad, let's say, or on a phone. There's a $1,200 fee for module to address that. So it kind of seems like maybe that's a backup plan if we needed it. The other thing that I talked to her about with regard to long-term and the reader situation was moving towards the radio read program that radio read upgrades that we're talking about. And we will have, whatever system we get, there will be a module interface upgrade that we'll have to do with Kuzi. And that will cost us, she believes, closer to the $1,000 module upgrade, but it could be as high as $3,000. Right now, that credit is standing with Kuzi. We have a $2,900 credit sitting there. If we insist, they will cut us a check for it, but we can also leave it on credit. So I just want to have you just hold that thought in your mind for a minute while I go through the other pieces that all kind of relate to Kuzi. The first one was under Angie's report, where it was about the e-billing and auto pay options. She's constantly being asked, do we have a method for auto billing? And Kuzi does offer this. I thought we had heard a while back that maybe they did, but I asked this representative about it at length this week, and they do have an option for ACH auto drafts, where the customer would provide, a routing number and a savings or a checking account number. And we would, one time per month at our discretion of the date, which would remain constant throughout the month, throughout time. So if we said the 15th, it would either be the 15th or the very next business day. We would make a sweep of all those ACH payments that customers had set up. There's no processing fee to the customer, and the funds are automatically deposited into our account in one swoop, and the data transactions can be pulled into Kuzi, much as they are with credit card processing. So there's no manual entry of each transaction. It would be posted to Kuzi in one pull-in. So that would save a tremendous amount of time, and it does require it does interface with Kuzi as we currently have it set up on our system. It would require a module fee of $1,000, and it may require also a monthly increase on our maintenance and customer service through Kuzi of $200 to $300 a year. So that's one option for what we were talking about, this recurring payment that's automatic for the customer. There's another option under our credit card, the credit card payment system that we currently have. And it would allow, there would be an upgrade that would have to happen, but it would also allow for a one-time fee to be initiated by us, one time per month. I'm sorry, not a one-time fee, a one-time draw per month initiated by us on a specific date, just like the other that I mentioned, but it would come off of a person's credit card, and the customer would be billed for the charge as well as the processing fee, just as they are now when they make any one-time payment that they make by credit card. Again, the funds would automatically be deposited in our account, and the transactions would be automatically posted into Kuzi. The trick about this one, in addition to it requiring a module, and in addition to it also having an increase on our maintenance with Kuzi of $200 to $300 a year, is that it would require some changes in how our Kuzi system is set up right now currently, and specifically with regard to our firewall. And as a result of that, I checked with Advantage, and they are very advise extreme caution. This is the type of arrangement that they believe is how many utilities have been hacked, by doing that type of interface. So their recommendation was, if you could work without having to change the system to need that, that would be preferable to them. The ACH arrangement does not require that.
So the first one doesn't. The first one, the one where
That's
you
correct,
do the routing
yes.
number and there's no fee to the customer.
That's right.
But the other one has a fee to the customer if they.
Well, the other one is, it's a credit card. Yeah,
fee.
exactly, right.
Okay.
Well, how does that, but the credit card thing, how does that differ than from what we are doing right now with the credit card?
Well, the only thing that's different is that the customer can sign up for it to be automatic. They don't have to go every
okay.
month and say, do this.
So if we choose to do the automatic by credit card, then we get into this situation where it's not secure enough.
Right.
The process is not secure enough.
Yeah.
So
So I mean,
we're not doing that, right?
right. I mean, I think if we offer something under the ACH that keeps our system secure, I think we're offering something, and that's, yeah.
I really
So
like the other one.
the other thing that I learned about that Kuzi offers that I was not aware of, which I do think that we should consider, and I learned about it in this whole conversation with this lady. So, and it does have to do with efficiency in the office, and also a benefit to the customer is a system that's called bank check elimination. And one of the ways that people can pay us is if their bank is a bank other than BCT, which we bank with, they can go into their bank's bill pay option and say, I would like to pay a bill to Harpers Ferry Waterworks, and they put their account number in there and they say, this is how much I want to pay them, and this is the date that I want to pay them on. And what happens when they activate that is that their bank writes a paper check to us and mails it to us. We receive it in the door We have to look on the check, we have to figure out who it's from, we have to find the account number, we have to then write all this stuff down, and then it gets processed with all the other checks. And of course, it has to get mailed to us, and we all know the challenges that people have had with the mail. So, what this would do is eliminate the paper check part. And therefore, when the person says, I want this check to be written on the 23rd of the month, the bank would make an electronic transaction to us. Angie would get a notification by email, much as she does today for credit card payments and Mars payments, that, oh, you have this payment that's come in. And she would just go through a process of pulling it in the system. It would post automatically. We wouldn't have to touch it. And it would be processed the same as to the customer. It would come faster. They wouldn't have to worry about mail, that kind of thing. Because one of the things is, if they get it going too late and then the mail's delayed, why then we might not get it till after they get a late fee on it. And then that becomes kind of an issue because they thought they mailed it in time. So this would eliminate all of that.
Right. It's a good system.
It sounds like Mars, though. It sounds just like Mars, but it's for other banks. Is that right?
Right. And also the big difference between that and Mars is that I believe, and Angie, I want to check with her on this, but I believe that Angie has to manually post every Mars transaction, where this would just say, okay, here's a batch, and it goes in and it does all the posting. It says, this is how much is going to go to SOAR for this person. This is how much is going to water. We don't have to touch it.
So that's because we would pay them to write this programming module to do it.
Yes,
right?
This would also require a $1,000 programming module. We
And
would also
They
need
could
to,
probably take care of Mars as well.
perhaps, well, I can ask about that.
Do everything, do all
Perhaps.
of that.
Yeah, that's a possibility, and I'll certainly ask about that. There is a per check processing fee that we would be responsible for on a monthly basis. If we buy a $1,000 module, we would be required a 15-cent per check processing fee and support of about $500 a year. Otherwise, they would waive the module and the yearly support, and we would pay 50 cents per check every time. So these are options that we need to think about. And what I want to go on to the security card deposit by credit card, but I also want to say before I do all that, I haven't had a chance to go over any of this with Angie. It's all just come in the last couple of days, and the lady who's helping me is at a trade show, and she's been very generous with her time and getting information to me. But I'd like to sit down with Angie and have her and
Sure.
our representative
Right.
talk through this, make sure that we're comfortable, and come back with solid numbers back for the next time, and perhaps then you can all make a determination on it. But all of these modules, if we chose to take one of those, then we just used part of our credit for the Scion reader for that as well, just so that you're aware. Okay, so the other thing is that, a while ago, the charges for processing credit card transactions for security deposits increased sometime maybe 6 months ago, and we weren't able to absorb all of that. And so we stopped using the credit card processor that we were. So I asked our representative at Kuzi if there was a solution. And we have a little bit of a hybrid going on there because we also have to process the PSD's deposit. So they may have a solution. That's where I'd like to leave it right now. I also want to do a little more research with Cox Holiday and the PSC regulations about the process of and the timing requirements of getting deposits into the escrow accounts. See if there's something that we can work through with that might we might modify our system a little bit and how we do things, but we might be able to handle it with some credit card processing through Kuzi. So I'd like to just put this on the shelf for the minute. Let us do some more research and come back to you next month.
Great job. That was awesome. No, I mean, a lot of information you found out in the last
Yeah, that
couple
was
days.
a lot. Thank you.
Any questions?
I want to ask a question. If we can get that $3,000 back, I don't see any reason for them to have it and for us to just take it as a credit. Is there any special reason why that would be advantageous?
It's either way. You can do, it's your discretion. If you want the cash back, we can get the cash back. On the other hand, if we feel like in another month or two, we're gonna buy one or two of these things and it's sitting there, then there's that. And we're also going to have, we're gonna have to do a module change when we get the meter reading going, the radio read system going. So
Yeah.
it's up to you all.
Right, but we, of course, that could take,
I don't see any
Wow.
reason to not have a store credit. I mean, we're gonna
well, I
be,
mean, it might sit there for a few years.
I
I
mean,
doubt it.
We'll
I
probably
mean,
use. it
if
in
I
the
have a
radio
store
read.
credit, I want that money in my bank account earning interest. So, because I don't know, so of course, we have bank accounts that earn interest. If all the money from the water, it's in a bank account earns interest, right?
so yes, all that's true. Could I make the suggestion that we just wait until next month along with making decision on all these modules to make that choice? Because the other thing is that we also every month, every year, we have to pay an annual fee to Kuzi, which could come off of that as well. So if I could get a projection based
Oh,
on what you decide
Okay,
next
well,
month.
I can, if
then-
we can do our annual fee with that, that's
Right.
different.
Mhm,
By
yeah.
the way, what is our annual fee now? Do you know, happen to know?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay,
Yeah, but
just wondering.
when we come next month, I'll get all that tidied up so that you know those things. And then you can say, okay, well, we'll buy this one. We're not gonna buy that one. We're gonna pay the annual fee. Our monthly fee is gonna go to this. And so
Okay,
we'll scoop that up in X time, or no, we want it all back, or whatever you wanna do. You can make that
that's fine
choice
with-
all in
That's
a,
fine with me.
Yeah. okay?
Okay,
All right.
Deb,
You're very welcome. I think that's everything that I had to present. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so nothing to vote on yet, but we'll clear that up over the next month, hopefully. When you have a chance to discuss it with Angie and the accountants. Source water protection, we already did. Sure you don't want to vote on that tonight?
I'm sorry,
It's fine. I'm
I
just giving you a hard
taught
time.
all day. I
right.
taught a school all day with 120 students.
All
I'm
right,
just not ready to do that
so,
and make a
He's
decision.
not here for the water system improvement project update. I've not seen any information on archaeologists such that we could have a vote. But we do need to, do we have a final draft of the job description? for the
Oh, my-
administrator?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I never, the only people, see, Maria had made some suggestions and the mayor made some suggestions, and I didn't receive any other input.
Okay, so no, that we don't have that to discuss this evening.
Well, I mean, we could use what we've come up with so far, but I was thinking that, Bill, you would like to make some additions to it. Is that right?
I just, we're not at a point where anybody's ready to vote on this, so we will table that for next month. We do have new business. We need to discuss initiating the
Set it.
process to acquire an operator in training, perhaps,
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah, and do we need to go in executive session here?
No?
Are you
Why do we need to
sure?
go into executive session?
Uh,
We're not going to talk about any individual people because we haven't hired anybody yet.
Well, there's some new, okay.
We didn't, Chris, we didn't put it on the agenda.
Oh, we didn't? Okay, all right, so
Didn't put
what we have now is, did you guys see what what we've already been working on? That I sent you out from what Pat Morse had put out to Kevin to have it put on the Facebook. It was basically our operator in training from last year. It basically says, the Harpers Ferry Waterworks is accepting applications for the position of operator in training, OIT, located at beautiful Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, serving approximately 820 customers. The position is a full-time with benefits and career advancements and potential. Benefits include health, paid vacation, sick leave, and retirement. Applicants shall possess a minimum of a high school education or GED and a valid driver's license. Duties include meter reading, fixing water leaks, and basic water operations. Heavy equipment operation in tight situations is highly desired skill. Work can be physical, demanding, requiring sufficient strength and stamina to operate a variety of tools and wrenches. The application deadlines is open until filled. To apply, send a cover letter of interest and a resume in reference to Harpers Ferry Town Hall. Attention, water clerk, 1000, PO Box 217. Anyway, that's going out to the Facebook, and we talked about putting it into the Journal. I had a meeting with the mayor on Tuesday, and we kind of got the ball rolling on this. This is basically directly from what we've had in the past that I read you, and you guys did get a copy of this. I sent this out to you.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I've seen
Okay.
it. So the question I have
Go ahead.
is, first, we have to, I mean, this is a recommendation to the town council, is it not?
Well, I have to get back to the mayor. The mayor put us, what was already pushing to have it put into the paper. So does that override everything, or what, do we need to put it through the town council? I guess that's my question. I mean,
Yeah,
I put a whole, this is what I did with Kevin. I sent him out an email, and I addressed it to you guys too. And I said, hold up, we're still talking about it. Did you get that email?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So that's, I left the ball because I was kind of confused about that myself.
But we're not, I never saw what the ad was. I know you just read it.
It's in that,
It's in the email.
yeah, it's in the email.
I just, maybe it's in an earlier email.
Yeah, it is.
I got the one that says pay scale.
Okay.
Oh,
there,
oh,
it's,
okay, I see it. It's operator
it should
in
be,
training vacancy. Yeah, I see it now.
okay, you got it?
Yeah.
So Pat's been working diligently on this in the last, 2 days, so. She's going faster than lightning. I wasn't expecting her to have all this stuff ready so fast, but she got it ready, and then we sent it, she sent it off to Kevin, but again, I'm not sure what the process is here, and that's why I put it on hold until you guys discussed it. What do you think?
Is there any
Bill?
reason not to post it on our website?
Well, Bill brought up the question, is this something that we have to bring through town?
No,
Town
I don't think so. I don't see why we,
I mean, we have a vacancy.
I guess I can think back to, as far as hiring, we make a recommendation about that and they vote on that. But
Yeah,
I don't recall that we had to recommend advertising for it.
no, this is true. This is true. What do you agree with that, Bill?
I think, yeah, I don't remember if we just voted and did everything and then
Yeah, I don't think I think it was more the recommendation, not the process.
All right, so here, how's this? I will, I move that we approve the ad as distributed, as read just now, to go into circulation, either the newspaper or Facebook
Facebook.
or both.
Okay.
Pending the mayor's approval, one way or the other. I meet with the mayor in the morning, so I will run
Awesome.
by the mayor this. So I move that contingent on the mayor's approval, if that's what he wants to do with this, he's the administrator, then we'll go ahead and release it. And if he thinks that town council needs to vote on it, then I'll be happy to, we'll bring it up as a recommendation. So I move that we approve the ad as worded for distribution as soon as practicable, pending the approval of the mayor.
Okay, it's wonderful.
I
That's
will
why,
second that.
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? All right, motion carries. And I'll let you know tomorrow, Chris,
okay,
or the mayor will. That way we just make sure that everybody involved in this is,
there's one more twist and turn that I need to talk to you after the meeting. Can I call you from, it's gonna be a landline, just,
sure, we can talk about that after we're done.
yes,
We're not on the record here.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, any comment from the public, Deb?
No, and I'm the only person watching.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh,
I feel.
Watch Dad.
oh,
I just have it running over here as our little studio check. I'm the only one.
Okay,
glad
so
you're able to do it from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
do,
you know, I want to ask, so Bill, do you plan to make, do you actually intend to make any comments about the job description, or is it, do I wait for any comments from you? Are you planning to contribute to that? You don't have to. I'm just wondering if I
I
should.
will,
wait
yeah,
for-
I just didn't know where it was or if it was ready to be produced or, yeah, I'll take a look at it and, we can
Oh.
either do it,
Well, I can
discuss it next
certainly
month, or
Send
we
you
can
the,
have a special meeting.
I can certainly send you the latest version, so you have it.
That would be fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right, that's
All
pretty
right.
speedy meeting, folks.
Yes, it
Speedy
was.
meeting.
Right.
Bill, I'll call you right now. It'll be a 229 number.
Okay.
Okay.